The Ever Podcast.
Extra!
You know it makes sense.
Welcome to Ever Extra, where we serve up an extra dose of excellence. I'm Matt Sims, and I'll be your host as we dive deep into the heart of the UK Excellence Awards. In Season 1, we're immersing ourselves in the prestigious British Quality Foundation as we look inside the UK Excellence Awards, an event that epitomises innovation, quality and sheer excellence on a monumental scale. Imagine a platform where industry leaders, influencers and visionaries converge to celebrate the pinnacle of achievement in business. But we're not just spectators, we're rolling up our sleeves and diving headfirst into each award category. From the judges who meticulously study every submission to the sponsors who lend their support, from the finalists who embody excellence to the winners who stand triumphant. We'll hear from them all. Why do they get involved and what secrets do they hold for achieving excellence? It's all here on Ever Extra as we uncover the stories behind the glitz and glamour, delving deep into the minds of those who make this event truly spectacular. Picture this, Wembley Stadium, Thursday the 27th of March 2025, because that's where we're heading for the next awards. The UK Excellence Awards are the Oscars of the business world, a star-studded affair buzzing with innovation and inspiration. It's where brilliance meets recognition, where hard work meets its well-deserved spotlight. Ever Extra is your inside scoop to the most prestigious event in the business calendar. Welcome to Ever Extra, where excellence really does take centre stage. In this episode, we're talking excellence in environmental sustainability. This category aims to reward companies committed to the future of our world by considering natural resources, as well as social and economic reserves. If you've made changes to your people, processes, systems, or products to create a culture of sustainability by involving and engaging everyone, this award is for you. In this episode, I'm thrilled to introduce Bryony Roberts from Pragmatic Consultancy, one of the judges for the environmental and sustainability category in 2023. Pragmatic Consultancy, also the sponsor of this award in 2023, will continue their sponsorship in 2025, which is fantastic news. Now, Bryony will take us behind the scenes to reveal what the judging panel looks for in excellence in sustainability. Additionally, we'll hear from Tim Sismy and Paul Roach from National Express, finalists in 2023, who will share their inspiring journey. But last but not least, we'll meet our 2023 winners, Vanessa Kelly from HVS. Now, Vanessa will give us an inside look at their winning entry and share insights on what makes a successful submission. Introduced in 2023 as Excellence in Environmental Sustainability, this award has now evolved into Excellence in Sustainability for 2025, broadening its scope to recognise even more outstanding efforts. I'm excited to share the inspiring stories of these remarkable organisations with you, so let's not hang around any longer. Let's meet Bryony from Pragmatic Consultancy then. And I asked Bryony, why did Pragmatic Consultancy sponsor this award?
The Ever Podcast.
Extra!
You know it makes sense.
Well, we've been working in the energy sector for quite a long period of time. So Pragmatic Consultancy was kind of born from helping energy suppliers get compliant within their obligations, license obligations. And you probably sat there going, what has this got to do with sustainability? So actually, one of the key things from helping companies try and put standards in place aligns really well to kind of the new green activities that are happening for companies that are really having to demonstrate compliance activities to ensure that they are reducing or minimizing their greenhouse gases, looking at better ways to harvest energy, utilize products, whatever it is. There's so many different ways that you can apply sustainability. So when I first joined the BQF, I was really keen to look at that kind of sustainability aspect as being a part of the excellence in.
Ah, interesting. I love the term harvest energy. It makes it sound so good. I don't know why. It just sounds brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Or am I
No,
just
no,
weird?
I completely agree. I think it's just we always kind of go back to the basics of what we know already know. But I think it's just looking outside the box and how can you create energy from different things. One of my bugbears is climate kind of conversation. Sometimes it can be quite difficult. So actually, it's just kind of getting people to think outside the box.
I live on the south coast of the UK, and when you go up on the cliffs where we live and you look along the coastline, there's like a one of those
Yeah,
wind farms, and there's just hundreds of these great big white propellers that are just spinning like windmills down there, and they're amazing to see. You don't realise just how big they are
yeah,
until you get closer to them. They are absolutely massive.
yeah. When you think you can see it from the aeroplane coming over, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, they've got to be pretty big. So.
Yeah, but you totally underestimate until you're standing there and you look up and you're like, wow, like it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Anyway, I digress. Sorry, I've taken us off on a tangent. So, what are some of the trends that you're seeing in this area then?
I think we're definitely seeing a lot more businesses started to look at what different frameworks they can adopt in their businesses. One of the areas that we were looking into is through the B Corp, so beneficial corporations. And I think companies are trying to understand how they can adopt a model that works for their business. And at the moment, there are standard frameworks that you can utilize, but it's just how they're adopted into there. So I think one of the biggest trends is there's a lot more companies reaching out to understand what's out there and then having a go at applying different methodologies within their organizations to try and understand which one will work better for their way of working.
So, it's not one size fits all. It really is. There's so many different ways. Why do you choose to support the UK Excellence Awards specifically? What is it that really does it for you?
My background has always been in quality. So I've always worked in and around the excellence of, products or services that I do. So as a chartered quality engineer, I've heavily got background in oil and gas and automotive. So it's those kind of streams have always been there. So when I was looking at joining a membership, I wanted to go back to something that I feel comfortable with. And obviously, the Excellence Awards, even though we're a fairly small consultancy firm, I really wanted people to feel like they can achieve whatever they can achieve. It doesn't matter what size, and the
Mm.
BQF has been really welcoming, and we are quite a new looking at sort of the green and the standards and stuff. It's really kind of pushing the boundaries of what we want people to achieve and sign up for and commit to is really important.
It sounds like your values align really well there as well, like the excellence and the striving for continuous
Yeah,
improvement and
exactly.
becoming better and constantly not accepting the norm. That's one of the nice things about BQF is that there is such an array of different size organizations in there. You don't need to be a massive organization. You could be any size. It's just all about having that sense of
Yeah.
value towards excellence. It's just great to be around it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's kind of really the buzz you get of just being in a room with so many different types of organizations. And, just learn. Everyone has, I always say this, everyone has the same issues. They just have it, exponentially depending on how much they're earning or,
Yeah.
so it's just, but for smaller companies who are wanting to get into that kind of framework, it's a great opportunity to really learn from others, whether they've done it well or not well. At the end of the day, it's about just not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's learn from others who are two steps ahead of you of what you can do, how you could do it better.
So tell me about you being a judge on the panel for this award as well. So not only was you sponsoring it, you was a judge. So it was your award, basically. I should just renamed it. It was your award. How did you find that experience?
Um, I was really nervous actually because it was the first time this award had been announced. So it's the first year the Environmental Sustainability Award had come into the BQF. So I had the privilege of being a judge as well as a sponsor. And I think I wanted to be a judge as well because I really wanted to make sure that we underpinned why this award was so important and to make sure that whoever was the first person to ever win this award really should win that award. So for us, it was a great opportunity to really see what kind of projects were going to come through for the first time ever through the Environmental Sustainability Award.
I guess it's hard as well because there's no benchmark when it's the first time. So you really are looking sort of in the dark for something that stands out. And I can imagine I was a judge on some of the other panels, and the quality of the entries in those was just unbelievable. And they're all so different and they're all excellent in their own way. And trying to choose which one should win the award was such a difficult decision. Did you find the same?
Yeah, I think it was definitely was, and it was challenging as in the sense of every company is trying to find its own journey. So you're not trying to compare apples to apples. Every company is trying to embrace their own path. And because some of these paths are quite new, was very much a very tentative conversation of, well, this is where we're going, this is what we're trying to do, this is how we're looking at doing it. So you could really see the strength of some of the conversations that people were having, but also the acceptance of, but there's more that we need to do. And that was a great opportunity to see.
And how about looking forward? Are you going to be involved in the 2025 awards at all?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can't wait. We've actually brought back the judges that we had last time as well. So
Amazing.
the other judge also has over 30 years of environmental sustainability experience. And, it was just a real pleasure to both of us to see that kind of commitment and aptitude of companies coming forward and saying, yeah, we're really going to stand firm, because you really are making a commitment. And I think it's standing for that accountability of, we are actually doing this, rather than just being not any other project, but it's like, actually, we have to really demonstrate we are committing to these values and this kind of level of performance and sustainability. It's quite a big statement for companies to make.
It is, yeah. It's a big commitment as well. And it's a long-term commitment. It's not one of those things you can just do short-term, is it? It's got to be something you really do think strategically about over a number of years. And it doesn't get much bigger than Wembley Stadium, really, does it? I mean, that's just going to be huge.
Yeah, it's going to be, BQF has always done really well at making great events, been at the last couple. So it's just been fantastic to have such a great venue, being back with people that, obviously we work with all year round, and celebrating the achievements of everyone over the year.
Inspiring stuff from Bryony. And what I've noticed across all of the award categories actually is all the sponsors have values that align very closely with that award category itself, which is brilliant because it makes it more authentic and more meaningful for those that win the award and those that get nominated as well. Let's not forget those, because they are absolute champions in themselves. Absolutely brilliant. Right, we're going to head from Pragmatic Consultancy over to the guys at National Express, the coach company, as we meet Tim Sismy and Paul Roach, who were finalists in the 2023 awards. And I asked them, why did you enter this category?
So it's a really key part of National Express's mission. I mean, you think about everything that we need to do as a country, as a species, to not get engulfed in flames. And emissions from transport is a really, really big one. And National Express have made a massive commitment to moving towards zero emission vehicles, and particularly with the bus fleet in Birmingham. And actually, per head per passenger, coach is more environmentally friendly than the train. So it's even on a diesel coach, it's more environmentally friendly than the train per person. What we wanted to do is really highlight the fact that Coventry is going to be the first all electric, all zero emissions bus fleet in the country. It's like Electric City is what they've sort of badged it, and it's so they've got a fleet of all these EV buses. But the process of rolling that out in Coventry Garage, and the team there, Vic and Agatha, who've been rolling that out, has been really impressive, because I don't know if you've ever driven an electric vehicle versus a internal combustion engine vehicle, but they drive quite differently. They drive quite differently. You have to think about, because of the impact that it has on the charge and the impact that it has on the efficiency of the vehicle, braking and accelerating and all of those things. They even pull away slightly differently, apparently. So drivers had to be all retrained. The way that the drivers were measured on how efficiently they were driving the buses, and the way that the interventions that were put in place in order to help drivers adjust to these new vehicles. Really, really skillfully done. And it's a big transformation. It's an entire depot. So things like how the routes all fitted together in order to make sure that buses could be recharged before going back out, and all those kind of things. All logistically, massive change had to happen in order to facilitate that. So it was something that it's very important for us as a business, for like what we stand for. It's really important for survival and the planet, but also just like what we had to do logistically, and the way that the team approached that in Coventry was, we thought was top notch. So we were really, really proud of that.
If it drives differently, for a driver that's been driving a bus for a number of years, that's going to be a really big change for them, isn't it?
Yeah, and all the parts of their job are going to change very slightly. So the bus drives differently. The routes that they used to drive in probably won't exist anymore, because they have to put the routes together more slightly in order to give them chance to recharge. All sorts of things are going to be slightly different about it. So it's a big re-education piece, as well as just buying new buses.
Is the battery on a bus huge? I imagine it's absolutely massive.
Well, I mean, an electric car is basically just like a battery on wheels. It's like most of the car is the battery. So and when you see the back of one of these electric buses up, they've got sort of several charging points at the back. So there's more than one battery.
I saw a really cool video on TikTok, of all things, the other day, where this car pulled into a garage, and like something came up from the ground and lifted it off the ground, and something else came out and lifted the battery out, and then it put a new battery in. So they always had a spare one that was charging. It's like a robot that grabbed it out. Looked absolutely brilliant. In my mind, that's what happens when you pull into a bus garage in Coventry.
I used to have an electric car, and something went wrong with it. The thing completely died, wouldn't start or anything like that. They had to bring a little robot out to put it on the back of the truck to take it to the garage, because there's no neutral on an electric vehicle, because there's no gearbox. So we couldn't just like push it onto the back of a flatbed.
It just
had
stops.
to be like put on by a robot that picked it up and just carried it. It was quite cool. My kids loved it. It was expensive.
Hard to nick then.
And you wouldn't get very far if you did nick it. The range ain't that great.
Yeah, they're going to be able to. That's a good point, actually. You can work it out. Really good. Okay, so give me a quick overview of what you did then, and what made you believe that your work was excellent in this area.
The starting point for that would be the process by which the team, the EV team in the Coventry garage, approached helping drivers think about their efficiency. When you buy a washing machine or something, there's like that efficiency scale.
Yeah, A, B, C, D.
The A, B, all of that business, yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice. They mocked up kind of a report that would put drivers on those scales. So if you were driving in a certain way and braking or accelerating in the right way, then you'd get a higher scale on this A to B. And they were able to actually talk about how much money, like in power costs and charging costs, a driver would incur being lower down on the efficiency. And so they had this sweet spot they were aiming for drivers to get to. And they made all of that information really, really transparent. So if drivers saw that they were a C rated and they want to get up to a B, they could go and see, okay, well, you're braking too hard, you're accelerating too fast, or you're not giving the regenerative braking a chance to kick in when you're going downhill, or whatever it happens to be. And they would then have access to all that information, and they incentivized the drivers to sign up to get that information, because they had like an online portal through a prize draw to win an extra day's holiday. So if you signed up, then you got a prize draw to win like an extra day's holiday, and so they all signed up for it. So really, really nice. Again, it's all about the people, right? So it put the drivers at the center of, we are going to help you learn how to alter your driving style in order to drive these vehicles more effectively. And then alongside that, there was all of the other implementation around how the routes needed to be changed in order to enable buses to be recharged, how they were going to facilitate the fact that a bus couldn't keep going as long as a diesel bus because it needed to be charged. And so there's a lot of logistics and so on involved in that. And as I say, we were really proud of the fact that Coventry is going to be the first all-electric bus city. And the work that went into making that happen, between the the people at the depot and our environmental sustainability team was really significant.
I've never heard that there's going to be the first all-electric bus route city, actually. It's really interesting. I drive past Coventry quite frequently. Whenever I go anywhere, it seems, I end up going up through the Midlands and up past Coventry. So I'm tempted to go and have a little nose. Is that now? Is that applicable now? It's like that, or it's in the goal?
It's now, yeah. So if you see a grey double-decker in Coventry, it's an EV.
Wow, that's really interesting. Do you know what you were saying about putting you get the stickers, the energy rating stickers? They always seem to be on the front of a TV. And if I buy a TV that's got a really low rating, I take it off straight away because I kind of feel like if I don't get a constant reminder that it's costing me loads of money, I'll forget that it's really expensive. But if it's a really good rated one, I leave it on there for everyone to see when they come round. So when they come in, they go, "Well, your telly's really efficient." I go, "Yeah, I know. I think about the environment." Think it through. Out of sight, out of mind, you see. That's what it's all about.
To be fair, I think it is like kind of really important in our industry, isn't it? Like, we understand that we have these massive diesel vehicles maneuvering people across the country. I think it's pretty imperative for us to make sure that we are as clean as possible and help people understand that we are not the worst option, because there is actually an image where they show how many seats it takes to occupy a coach before it becomes like more cleaner than the train, for example, and or how many cars it would take to fill the coach. And I really enjoyed that. The image itself shows how actually the coach is a cleaner way of transport than commuting to London per se than your car.
Well, also the whole you definitely get a seat. Like, I used to commute to London 3 times a week from here, and I'd go on the train, and I'd have this whole thing of I'll do that work on the train, and then I'm standing. It's like, well, I'm not doing any work.
Well, there used to be, like, when we used to do the commuter services in particular before, the working from home come about, when there was a massive area of London that people from Kent used to live and they used to travel to London every day. Like, our businesses used to do commuter coaches, but they were guaranteed a seat, guaranteed Wi-Fi, guaranteed aircon. There was coffee facilities on board, and it was thousands of pounds cheaper than the train. It was a really good option, but obviously the world changed with COVID and more people work from home now. So, but we still offer the services that are cleaner than the train and your cars. And I think people don't represent that with a coach because they know it's got a massive engine and it's diesel and it's really bad, of what the protesters say. But actually there is a really key point that says if we fill up our coaches, it's cleaner than being in your car.
Super interesting. Do you know what drives that perception that it's really bad? Was Thomas the Tank Engine. Do you remember the character Diesel? And it's depicted in my mind that it's a bad thing because of that. I used to hide behind the sofa when Diesel came out the garage.
I say we often forget about how visual management shows so much, like when you say about diesel, and you say it's
Precisely.
Diesel, and then I talk about the picture where when you fill up the seats, how much carbon emissions we're saving. And I think, that's probably how you get across to more people than a paragraph on a wall. It's that image.
Yeah, so I have a controversial thing to add in here, right? On an electric bus, if you could emulate the smell of the diesel, it would be an all-round winner for me because I just love that smell. I could stand behind a bus all day. I just love it. The smell's amazing. Is that weird? Absolutely brilliant stuff from Paul and Tim. I love talking to them because they are just so real. It's also raw. And I just relate to it so much from my experiences in my career. I think the things that they're going through at National Express and how they think about things, how they're trying to engage with their people, how they're thinking about, their impact on the environment and the world as a whole longer term. And how interesting was that fact about the carbon cost of travelling in a coach when it's full versus trains? I never would have thought that ever. But I'd much rather travel on a coach than I would on a train. Is that just me? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Right, we wouldn't be giving you a full rounded view of excellence in environmental sustainability if we didn't also speak to the winner. Everyone wants to speak to the winner, don't they? So I was really lucky to catch up with Vanessa Kelly from HVS. Now, let me warn you, this is absolutely incredible. If I don't hear you running down the road to buy yourself a hydrogen vehicle after this, then nothing's ever going to change your mind. Absolute superstar. I love talking to Vanessa. It was a real joy. I asked her, what are they doing in this space and how are the team feeling after such a win?
we're very, very happy, to be the winners, and I'm really happy to be here.
You get to claim that like for nearly
I
2
know.
years. It's like 18 months, isn't it, that you're the champions for?
It is, and it was the first ever time that category went live. So
Oh, wow.
it's really we're extremely happy with it, and honestly has given us such energy to like keep going forward.
Yeah, so you're the only champions has ever been. That's even more impressive.
Exactly, absolutely. And I feel like it's really a fantastic medal to have, just an honor to have. And also, if there's any way that we can help and inspire other companies to go for that category as well, we definitely want to do that.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, let's get stuck right in then. Let's really get into HVS and understand why you entered the category and what makes this topic of environmental sustainability so important to you.
Right. So basically, HVS started in 2017. We had this big idea of getting this ambitious, of getting this hydrogen ecosystem going. We developed developing the zero emissions hydrogen electric heavy good vehicle, or like HGVs
that's
are
a
called.
mouthful.
It's crucial to reduce the transportation's significant contribution to greenhouse gas emissions. And I think ultimately this is what it comes down to. Hydrogen electric HGVs, they represent a transformative solution. It targets one of the most pollutant segments in the industry. So normal diesel HGV trucks that are out there, they are only about 1%, 1.5% of the total vehicles, but they contribute to about 20% of the emissions. Now, that's a huge amount of emissions. So it's always been HVS's like passion to tackle that, because once we take that away, we could be avoiding so many emissions out in the air. 96% of all of new trucks are still being powered by diesel to this day and age. And one HGV emits 104 tons of carbon dioxide every year. Now, if HGVs, based on our conservative sale projections for when we go on market, say by 2030, we would have displaced enough HGVs to prevent 4 million tons of carbon dioxide and noxious air emissions. And that is equivalent of shutting down Heathrow for a year.
Wow.
Now that is, it's an incredible passion and goal to have. It really drives us forward.
That is amazing. I love the way you put it in terms that make it real as well. That really helps understand.
Yes, and it's very important to bring these conversations into real life examples, because it's the best way to connect with with the people that that are living their lives, and they might not know, they might not really understand the impact unless you put it in comparable ways that they can actually make those connections.
I worked at a company once where we were measuring the amount of walking that people were doing when they were doing the roles that they were doing. And we asked them to wear pedometers. And we was able at the end of it to turn around and say, you've walked the equivalent of London to X, to really get people to better understand how much walking was involved. And you're right, if you can make it real, people connect with it more and you get a better reaction, don't you?
Absolutely. I think also in, the equivalent of that in our industry is sort of like the distance between miles and kilometers. So what we are trying to do is say, well, we are a very, very special product. We go up to 500 miles. And what we're trying to say, well, that's the equivalent roughly of driving from the north of London to the south of Glasgow without having to stop to refuel.
Wow.
And that is the beauty of hydrogen. It has such long range compared to any other alternative fuel solution that's out there. And the reason why hydrogen is so well suited for long haulage is because it doesn't require as many infrastructural facilities along the way.
Wow. So where do you get your Costa coffee from then on the way? If you haven't got to stop for fuel, there's no excuse. How do you do that? Have you thought about this?
Oh my goodness. We're going to have to speak to our end users.
Yeah, I think you need to go back to the drawing board.
We can factor in some...
You've got to get your coffee.
We can put a little Lavazza in there, This is not sponsored.
Yes. Yeah. Imagine it. Yeah. I see videos on YouTube all the time of these people that drive HGVs, and the setup they've got is incredible. Some of them have got like PlayStations in there.
It is. It's basically, again, like the more you talk and you spread this information, it's important because people, get to know how the people that do these professions live. And yes, they are, sleeper cabins. They have to drive very long hours. Usually the cab, and we're probably going to go into this a little bit more later, the cabs of conventional truck right now are quite limited. They're quite small and they're a bit cramped. And these people live their whole lives in these HGVs. And the good thing about our one is that we are developing it from the ground up. We're not using old chassis. We're not, retrofitting anything. And that gave us a fantastic advantage. When we patented for our design, legislation had changed. So our cab was able to be a bit bigger. So that it makes it more spacious, it makes it safer,
Wow.
it makes it much better like living space overall. And also when it comes to safety, we were able to have like a wider field of vision. Also we've installed safety features, which makes it much better for like for women drivers. So we've got like a full privacy screen, and you can actually adapt for it to have a toilet as well, so that if they don't feel safe stopping at night somewhere, they will be comfortable just being inside as well.
Oh, wow. I think I want to change professions. Maybe it's being middle-aged all of a sudden, but there's something really appealing about having your own little living space that no one else is in, and you can drive around in it and it's just yours. I really like the idea of it.
You can get a camper van.
Don't start me off, Vanessa. Do you know what? I'm obsessed at the moment with camper vans.
I follow so many Instagram stories about the camper, the renovation.
Yes, people keep buying these old vans and converting them, and I've just, honestly, it's taken over my life.
Do it, Matt. Do it.
Don't stoke the fire, okay? You're causing me problems. My wife will go mad.
Take the wife, the dog, the kids, everything.
She said to me, Matt, you're too intolerable to live in a camper van with me and the 3 kids. I said, I wasn't inviting you guys. This was just for me. I was just going to go in it on my own. It's my escape. I thought mobile studio would be really cool. I can go on tour. Anyway, back to the point. So I want to know, why did you decide to enter the UK Excellence Awards, and how did it help HVS with the work that you were doing?
Okay, so it's a little bit of a no-brainer in a way, because when you start looking at things that you want to enter from a company perspective, there isn't quite anything like the BQF. It has incredible prestigious recognition, first of all. They are widely regarded as a hallmark in excellency. Across various industries, they celebrate outstanding achievements, and they're very highly respected. So, you want to have an accreditation that will actually enhance your company, and you don't have to look any further than the British Quality Foundation when it comes to that. They are a benchmark for excellence. Is something that I believe all companies should aspire to have, even just to be shortlisted. Even if you don't win, just the shortlist itself really highlights the quality of a company. They recognize organizations that demonstrate sort of like innovation, sustainability. It provided HVS with an invaluable platform to highlight what it is, in essence, our completely pioneering work. This has really amplified the visibility within our industry, and winning the sustainability category has set us apart from other innovators in the field. Now, also, when you're going to spend some time researching and making an application, you want to choose someone that has comprehensive and rigorous evaluation processes. Unlike some other awards that, is kind of like a bit of a pay to play, it is not the case like that with BQAs. They take their job very seriously. The judges are very thorough. Also, it, as I said, increases visibility, networking opportunities. It really has positioned us as a leader in sustainable transportation. Attract attention from industry peers, potential clients, partners, investors, the media as well. And even the award ceremony on itself is a very high-profile event. It brings together, industry leaders, and it's a recognition that enhances your brand image.
Yeah, I think you've hit every single nail on the head there. I couldn't agree with you more.
It has done exactly what we were hoping and more from an accreditation, from a recognition perspective. Even just saying, we've won the VQF in sustainability really opens doors to new contacts, to as new events that people want to involve you in. And they take you more, they take you seriously in that aspect, in that category.
Gives you that credibility, doesn't it?
Yes, and that's really important.
And in terms of competitors, I only know of HVS that do what you're doing. So it obviously, it's people like me, I'm only seeing you guys. I don't see anybody else. So it definitely gives you that kind of exposure to people that probably wouldn't even think about it. Because, I'm terrible. I go and buy a car and I just look at how many miles has it done? Has it got any scratches on it?
And that's it.
And is it in my price range? I don't think about the environmental side of it. And I guess I'm just naive to it. I know that there's an environmental issue, but it's not something that's on the forefront of my mind. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And, and it wouldn't be necessarily because, this is, you're talking about your car, it's a passenger car. It's what, you're going to get what is within your budget right now. And, as there are a lot of electric cars in the market right now, maybe the prices are coming down. Eventually, who is not to say that if a hydrogen ecosystem is established, because you would need the bigger trucks. You need the trucks first because we would need that infrastructure. For example, we have done some heat maps, for example, that with as little as 7 stations in the whole of the UK, which are strategically placed, a hydrogen HGV would cover the whole of the deliveries of the UK. Now, once you have that in place, there is such a thing as, like trickle economy. So around those 7, you will start seeing passenger cars popping up. And then, inevitably in between those 7, between 1 and 2, you will see more popping up. And it will happen and it will come. And it's just a matter of time. So no, you don't feel bad for affording, for looking for what you can afford right now. And ultimately, in a way, that is still recycling. You're still making a use, you're putting that into the circular economy just by doing what you're saying, which you might say is like the bare minimum. What can I afford? Does it still run? But you are playing a part on the circular economy of that vehicle.
I think the problem is when I bought my Ferrari and then when I bought my Lamborghini, they didn't have the electric versions
Did they
available. I
not?
could only get like the really high powered petrol ones. When I bought my helicopter, that I had an electric option on that, but the lead wasn't long enough to reach from the house.
Right. I see. Yeah, no, it's a problem. Yeah, absolutely. Wait for hydrogen.
I haven't really got any of those things. So you've given us a bit of an insight already into what your entry consisted of. But what is it that makes you guys so special and excellent in this area as opposed to competitors or other organizations that are doing similar things?
The reason why you said I haven't heard of anyone else that wasn't HVS, it's because there simply isn't quite anyone like us in the UK. So we are, we've taken a concept. We said, okay, we want to tackle that 20% emissions from HGVs. We've decided, okay, we genuinely believe hydrogen is the fuel to go. It has long range. It really is the best fuel for commercial vehicles. Now, that was a PowerPoint ambitious idea in 2017. From then, we had to put together a really good team, put together an MCV, which is a medium commercial vehicle, like a van. Then we proved our concept. The MCV was fantastic to unlocking more funding, unlocking more interest. And then we started working on the HGV, which was the heavy demonstrator that we launched in the commercial vehicle show last year in April. Again, that was a great milestone for us. Now, what we've been doing since, and that drives excellency, is that we are now halfway through our prototype phase. We've got 2 prototypes, the X1.5 and the X2, which means that now we can do test tracks. We've done the dynametric test, which actually that measures speed, horsepower, and kind of like stability and all those things. And then we've done the trailer pulling test, which is also a very important milestone to see that the vehicle can actually, pull this trailer. It's like in a real life scenario. And that is ready, the product is kind of like suitable for commercialization. Having those 2 out of the way, we've also started to develop what we want to do with our company for the future for manufacture. And we want to bring circular economy to the heart of all the departments. So since then, we've developed 6 comprehensive environmental sustainability goals. So before we go into manufacture, all our vehicles will have 80% recycled materials, at least. And by the end of the life cycle of the vehicle, 95% of it will go back and will be recycled. So it'll go back into the kind of circular design principles.
That's amazing.
So then we will go to 0 waste to landfill. So up to 99% will be landfill-free manufacturing by weight of waste. Also, we want to avoid using environmental harmful substances. And then of all of our sort of like the manufacturing process, the manufacturing plant. So 60% of that will be energy consumption from carbon-free sources. So we also are going to conduct carbon accounting supplies on all of our suppliers, and we have a benchmark that they have to hit if they want to work with us as well, because we want to actually maintain something called the Green Leaf score. And we've won a Green Leaf silver medal, and we're going for gold this year.
No wonder you're happy to inspire others. No one can get near you. It's unbelievable.
We will make everyone go near us. If they want to go near us, they're going to be with us.
It's inspiring. What a journey you've had in 8 years as well.
Thank you.
That's no time at all.
No.
And the things you're doing are amazing.
I think so. I believe considering that, we had we had COVID and everything kind of stopped for a little bit. We've actually gone really miles and not by since I would say 2022. We're just much faster, and we can see the production manufacturing timeline already in the horizon. So, 2026, we're going to be on the road. Yeah.
That's really exciting. So what would be your top tip for anyone who's looking to enter the Excellence in Environmental Sustainability in the 2025 awards?
100%. Go for it. I would say something that made us stand out, and that was actually a feedback from the judges, was that we seem to have aligned our mission to our vision and our values quite closely. So we have pillars in our company, and we have that we're pragmatic, so we will not gonna hide from hard facts. And we're very passionate. So everyone at HVS is driven by something. So for example, for me, it would be reducing emissions. From engineering is the passion to discover something new at all times. For HR, it could be building together the perfect team, for every department. So you have to find your passion, distribute that within your business, and make sure that people are happy in what they do. We also we believe that we're powerful because we're a very strong team together, and we're progressive because we are optimistic and we work towards a brighter future. We also believe that you have to showcase tangible achievements. So if it's like milestones reached, awards won, significant improvement, it's really important. We shared our plans and we celebrate our milestones, like when we signed up. Every time we sign up a customer, or like for a pre-order, or when we completed the trailer pulling test, we did a really nice YouTube video for how we capture those moments. And important that you take the judges on that journey with you. It's also important to maintain a good structured project management approach, because the judges would like to see that you have, you can set up the goal, you can distribute the tasks. For us, it was developing the sustainability goals, for example. This includes internal auditing, documenting, recording everything. It really was about getting really in the nitty-gritty of every department, because sometimes, it's very easy when a company starts to grow to start like finding these devices between them. But you're like, no, we are one team. How can this department improve its sustainability? Because we all emit some sort of something that we could be, not emitting. So we all improve. Yeah, I would say emphasis in teamwork and collaboration. The time that you've all had to pull together, for us, for example, was the launch of the vehicle last year. We had to make sure the engineering team had the vehicle ready, marketing team, the media, the PR, design. We all had to pull together to get that to happen. It was a global launch as well, and it was fantastic, but
Wow.
it really was a team effort. Also commit to continuous improvement. So it's not like, you just won this award and then you're going to be stagnated. It's like, what plans do you have for the future? And all of that at the same time, it has to be, you have to translate that you want this to happen for an environmental purpose as well, and a sustainability purpose.
You've given us a recipe for a gourmet meal there, Vanessa. That's unbelievable. Are you going to enter the awards to protect and maintain your status as champions?
Absolutely. We will enter.
Oh, excited. I can't wait to see what you do.
We're also going to be judges this year.
You can't judge yourself.
We won't judge ourselves. We won't judge ourselves.
Can you imagine? It's a guaranteed win.
Oh, it was brilliant, yeah. No.
Oh, well, look, good luck. I'm really impressed with what
you.
you've done, and it's been so lovely talking to you. For a company that deals with sustainable energy, you are buzzing with energy, and you were wonderful to chat with.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure to be invited. Thank you so much for everyone that's listening, that has an interest. Absolutely, definitely enter. Definitely keep your organization going as sustainable as possible. I mean, this is a future that matters to all of us.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Eversaline Extra. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the world of the UK Excellence Awards. To learn more about the UK Excellence Awards and what it means to be a BQF member, visit www.bqf.org.uk. Don't forget, you can catch more episodes of the Eversaline podcast on all major platforms or at eversaline.com. Whether you're seeking insights into leadership, continuous improvement, or simply looking to be inspired, we've got you covered. Until next time, stay excellent. Eversaline Extra is researched, recorded and produced by Matt Sims. Visit eversaline.com to find out more.
The Eversaline podcast.
Extra!
You know it makes sense.